Holly Davidson.
I'm here today to thank you and also to let you know that I want to be a state income taxpayer, but not at the estimated 28% that the governor is asking of me in pay cuts, step raise freezes, or health insurance increases. I'm a kindergarten teacher in Washoe County. I love my job. I don't have class size reduction, so I can be expected to teach anywhere between 38 and 70 students in the course of a year. And it's not playtime and cookie and nap and taking milk anymore in kindergarten. I teach these children to read because that is what I'm expected to do. And if you've ever tried to teach 70, 5- and 6-year-old children how to read in 2.5 hours, then you know it's an exhausting job. This is my second career, mind you. I came into this because I wanted to do something good for society. I wanted to teach kindergarten because I knew I had the ability to get children off to a good start in education. I'm feeling very demoralized these days because I'm being told I'm selfish for not wanting to take the cuts that the governor wants to give me. And I don't understand how we can live in this state and continue as we are going and keep asking the people who are serving our society the most to take the brunt of the cuts. I know this deficit is serious, but it has to be fixed another way, and not on my back, and not on the back of state workers and other teachers. Please have the courage, and I know it's going to take a lot of courage because that word tax is the same as the F word in our society today. It is not a word that people like to use, but we have to face the fact that our taxes have to be increased in some way in order to pay. And I do not want my taxes to be so increased that I'm looking at having to look at a second job. Please have the courage, and thank you so much. I don't know if your gut is tied in a knot right now, but mine sure is from listening to everybody that's been here since 9 in the morning. I know you're going to go home tonight with a belly full of this, and it will be hard for you to sleep. But as a teacher, that's how I go home every night from my job, because I don't know how my students are going to be fed. I don't know how my students are going to get through the day when they have their parents talking about losing their jobs and they don't know where things are coming from. They're worrying in a way that children shouldn't be expected to. Please, help us out.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Tracy Conley.
Good morning, good afternoon almost. I just want to say the advantage of 53 is so that I'm at the end. I've sat here the whole 3 hours that all of you have. I've heard every agency and private businesses speak, and as a member of ASME, as a member of the Welfare Office for 10 years at the state, I want to say thank you, for hearing me today. And the big key factors is equality. Equality from every agency that you've heard from, equality for the private industries, equality for the unemployed. And talking for me personally, I'm a full-time mom, so the doctors that you heard from, probably one of many have helped deliver the child. As a mom who works full-time, and I go to school at UNR, and I go to the DRC, which is the Disability Resource Center, and they provide services for me. So as you can tell, there's a lot of services that I receive just personally, not just as state agency worker, or not just as a union member, or not just as a student at UNR. There's several agencies that you've heard, and they're all asking for something, and one thing that you just, I guess, are hearing is equality. We don't want to be having our income reduced so we can't survive. We don't want to see people who are unemployed be on the streets. Same as the veterans. My father, definitely a veteran. I don't want to see him on the streets. There's a lot of things that you've heard today that are gut going to hit home for either one or many of you. And one key thing also that I'd like to point out is that my coworkers, they're going to be in the same boat as the next person, whether they're employed or whether you're full-time or whether they have a disabled family member. They too are dealing with caseloads that are extremely difficult. Month of February, for example, we received 1,000 just for that 1 month of Medicaid applications. Can you imagine having a 400 caseload and then knowing that you're going to be slammed with more? Doing their best, they're working hard, their stress level is going up just like anybody else. Your job is very difficult and your stress level is going to go up. You know what is at stake. You know that we're all waiting for your answers. We're all waiting to see what's going to happen. Equality. We've got to find a way to make everything equal and as level as possible, so not one person is going to get hit harder than the other. That's all I ask is for you to really realize that every agency is going to be hit. We realize that, but please try to equal the numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Juanita Cox. Good morning.
Good morning. Juanita Cox for the record. I'm also representing Citizens in Action. Personally, I have also taken a big hit. Everyone is hurting. We've listened to all these agencies, all these different people. Very, very sad. But hopefully today we will try to identify what are essential services. People that we heard today are critical services, and they certainly are essential. Some are, although some are not. All departments need to determine really way down to the wire, probably going back to 2003 budgets, and determining what was then. Maybe we can cut back to that and leave money for the essential services. We also need to think back of what happened before all of this happened. And that was, many services were provided by our churches, volunteers, and charities. Because we've changed that understanding by our governments, our good times, we've lacked these things, and the churches are doing, I know, a lot of great work, etc. But if the people that are willing to pay they've got a place that they can pay. They can put more money into the collection. If they think they can be taxed, that's the place to do it. Put their money into charities. Put the money directly into this, or volunteer for these great, essential, critical services. That's what we can do. The government, the state, could possibly do a website, something like a Craigslist, for these volunteers to coordinate these and collect items, collect things that these people need, perhaps, and professionals that are now able to volunteer their time and services, such as we heard about a need for someone to give another one an inoculation or shot or help. There are a lot of people out there that now might be able to step up to the plate, but they just need to know that their services are needed. So when the public is noticed, they do step up, as we've seen. Jails and prisoners that are nonviolent need to be released, and stop prosecuting those minor nonviolent things. If you put more people on home release. Experts, taxing businesses will only have those large businesses leave. I've discussed this with many of them, and they will leave, leaving more people homeless and in need of those essential services.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Thank you so very much. Mr. Pringle, and for those beyond 58,